Welcome back, guys, to the World Championship Series European Premier League Season number 2, Group H, as we have our second series on the way. It's going to be ToD going up against SortOf.
That's right. So let's just, overlay what we're going to see in front of us. We have ToD from Team XMG playing playing for France, sorry. Then we have SortOf, the guy from Sweden, who plays now for the Alliance, but is playing from Korea today. Big
disadvantage for him there, as he's training in the EGTL house. And SortOf, it's interesting because he's always been considered a pretty darn strong player, but his Protoss is certainly his weakness right now in Heart of the Swarm. His win percentage sitting at around 29% in terms of series. Of course, a lot of those Protoss have been very strong, but not all exactly tip-top. Oh my god, I'm the best Korean SOS style.
But he is living with Naniwa in Korea, training within that EGT house. And I'm pretty sure that he's given him some suggestions and helped him improve that dire win record against Protoss. So I'm sure that's the case. But he is going up against a player who's not that bad against Zerg. And he's been performing quite well recently. There he is himself, debut in the Premier League. And, some may say that he's hidden his stride in StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm at the moment, really putting out some performances that are making people big fans of his play in recent times.
Mr. ToD, I've missed him for a little bit, but I've got you now, Apollo, here in the round of 32. Yeah, casting alongside him for quite a while. Taking multitasking in StarCraft to a whole new level, apparently, in terms of his roles.
Seems to be able to do a bit of both, but at this level of StarCraft, you need to be fully concentrated and dedicated to be able to get the best results. It's almost time for the game to begin here. This is, of course, going to be a best of 3 to determine who moves on to play Titan in this winners match. And I know ToD, you know ToD, everybody knows ToD, and I'm pretty sure that he wants to win this more than ever now to get, or should I say, to avoid the Terran player, to get the Protoss player in the winners match to move in first place. It just simplifies things. I think that's what he's really focusing on right now.
It does, and spawning up to the top left-hand corner here as our red Zerg, we have Alliance SortOf. And down to the bottom right, as our blue Protoss, we have XMG ToD.
All right.
All right.
So, the thing called latency surrounding SortOf, I want to just talk about it for a second.
Yeah.
As a Zerg player, it does not affect you as much. And the Zerg players will argue against me all day long for this. Now, I'm sorry, Zerg players, but it does not affect you as much as it does a Protoss player and Terran.
Yeah.
I feel that as a Zerg player, it's very much so all much about... Oh, he's got a gas. He's going 10 gas, 10 pool.
Seemingly.
All right, I was going to say, as a Zerg player, it's all about your builds, your timing, and your defense. You don't need to micro intensively if you already have 20 roaches out as a 6 gates coming. It's all about these small things. But, as mentioned, SortOf is living with Naniwa right now. Look how Naniwa made his way into the round of 16 by choosing builds that could kill his opponents. This is a selected specific build, the same build that I taught to Stefano to attempt to assassinate Baby Knight. It didn't work then, but it may work here. It's designed to beat out a gateway expand that doesn't include a probe scout.
And ToD's been doing a lot of gateway expanding recently. It's interesting because I was speaking to him yesterday, and he feels inspired today. He feels inspired. Why? Because I sent him the replays of music. And he seemed very happy with that. But now, going up against this, I really don't think he was expecting this in game 1.
No, and it depends. Does he have 1 or 2 gases? And currently it's at 1. He needs to get it after the Cybernet score to start to increase a gas count where he can afford to get Warp Gate Research, Sentry, and Mothership Core. But look, not a second gas is coming down by ToD. He's taking a faster Nexus, which means he's going to have a hard time in defending this. Usually you do want to have double gases. Baby Knight against Stefano had double gases. Was able to build sentries and then use the minerals to build a Nexus and then a pylon wall-off in between the main and natural. This is not going to be the case here. He's going to get completely blindsided, but he's no idea about this.
And he's being super sneaky right now as SortOf. Really hiding a lot of these. And any probe scout that would come out for ToD,
it doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter if we probe scouts, because in 20 seconds, this is going to be ready. A pylon is there on the natural, not in the ramp. And of course, he's not going to randomly build on the ramp. He's sure he's got a mothership core, but it's nowhere near to have photon overcharge. It's a zealot, not a sentry, so he can't even force field the ramp once, which you would do usually with a double gas sentry play, and then build the pylons behind it. This is going to hurt.
And those Zerglings now run straight on in that mothership core, way out of position to actually defend against this in the mineral line. And that first zealot, well, it was completely cancelled, realizing that that Nexus would have been out a bit quicker. ToD right now taking a lot of damage, getting that zealot out just in the end here to try and shut this down, but still 14 Zerglings remain, and only 14 probes remain as well.
Yeah, I mean, ToD's lagging a little bit here, and maybe he slammed his fist on the desk or something, you know, and disrupted his internet, I don't know. But the Zealot immediately gets surrounded, and now there's just a mothership core with little DPS. The probes are falling, and, well, he's defending for now, but it is 12 probes against 10 drones. Even if the Nexus isn't there, look at how low these probes are. Behind this, drones are going back in. The Queen is there, and expansion's coming down. Very similar to how we saw a gameplay on WCS most recently. But so far, ToD's been able to stabilize a little bit, hasn't he? He's got his main base in lockdown. He's taken a lot of damage, but he's not that far behind. He is behind, but not incredibly far.
Yeah, Zergling's still running on forwards here to continue applying that pressure. As ToD here, well, he does have that wall off, so shouldn't take too much damage just yet.
Well, if he pushes his way through the Stalker here.
He's going to have to continue walling it off.
Yeah, and that's more resources he can't really afford. I think, yeah, there's a wall off now with the pylon.
He's going to have to rely on the mothership core to kill it off before he can't.
Yeah, he has to back off now. And then go kill the pylon on the low ground. That's a lot of resources that are not going into an expansion. Remember, behind this, only drones are being made.
And unit counts here, 16 workers to 16. So, but despite that, the Nexus for ToD should have been down, and this hatchery is about to finish up here for SortOf. So the advantages here, very, very clear for SortOf.
ToD's now going to try and build a Sentry Zealot army to be able to take an expansion.
It's gone back to a 3-gate expand. Haven't seen that for a while. Weird stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I mean, people, I mean, when was it? It was in the WCS night. It's off my brain right now. But there was a Zerg play that opened up 14 gas, 14 spawning pool. And then the Protoss play went 3 gateways.
Oh no.
Dear.
Oh, he's going to lose one of those sentries.
I'd go for the low health probes.
Yeah, just kind of focus those down.
Run around to get the low health probes.
Nice trade. Any probe that these 4 Zerglings can get is a big, big pickup.
And remember that every Zealot that gets warped in, probes that are lost, is a later Nexus, which is still coming into play. Look at the probe count, 28 to 20 now. 3 more drones coming in, maybe a lava inject, and then even more coming in. But a layer. I wonder if this is going to be for a Nidus Worm.
Yeah.
I think it may be.
There's a lot of room for him to actually go for that. He has to produce some units to deal with this small contingent that's moving out for ToD into the middle of the map. Spinecrawler's actually going down to stop that, so
yeah,
should be okay.
I think this is going to be a Nidus Worm. I think it's going to build mass Zerglings.
Yeah. And
then a Nidus Worm into the main base. Let's just check his units, what he builds next. A Roach Warren, that can help too.
Yeah. And at this point, I think that even if ToD sees that Roach Warren, he may just think that's to deal with any kind of gateway push that I'm going to try and go for if I were going to go for that. But he already sees, I think he just barely sees the Nexus. Yes, he does. So he knows that that is going down.
Even if the Nidus Worm doesn't go in the main base, it could go in the natural here. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm wild and crazy.
Nidus plays cool, man.
Come on.
Nidus plays cool.
Maybe I'm crazy.
Don't be crazy. Don't be crazy. It has to happen.
The way that he's playing, though, it just kind of feels like what he would do.
Yeah. Sentry?
What is he? Roach speed, okay.
Oh, okay.
he still could do it, but yeah. Maybe it's too much of a risk to take.
Zerglings, are you going to get a sentry? Yes, you do. At the cost of everyone's lives, but it doesn't really matter. A sentry is a nice pickup, especially since he knows that his opponent couldn't really have been warping in across the map. He doesn't think that there's any probes over there.
A lot of overlords being made, so we're going to see a lot of roaches come out next. So just a 2-base roach attack with speed then. So that's what his plan is. There is no robotics facility or Stargate, Void Ray, or Immortal to help push this off. And ToD needs to kind of find out what's going on. He's going to use the mothership core to scout. Remember, he's got no idea. Maybe he sees roaches pop in. Maybe he sees the lair and puts 2 and 2 together here.
Sees a roach. Oh, he sees quite a few roaches
sees the lair. Now, this is the time where I'm like, there's no cannon at home. What's his defense strategy here?
We have sentries.
He must have one, right? It's not sentries. It can't. No, it isn't sentries.
Yeah.
But what is it?
It's got to be something. I mean, he's got +1 weapons on the way, but that's really not going to help him out too much.
He has no defense yet.
Yeah.
He's Chronobus and probes. I'm afraid he may not realize the risk. A single cannon is still not good enough.
Even if
gas is being taken. I don't think he sees the risk.
Even if you realize the risk, how do you actually deal with it from the position that ToD was in?
Okay, so I think ToD's just misreading this game and thinking that SortOf is further behind than he actually is because of that assault. Hallucinate Phoenix goes out. Now ToD's like, okay, here's the threat. And I don't think he was really ready for this. Not at all. Twilight Council, that's not going to help.
Oh, yeah, that really isn't going to help here. Maybe he's trying to get some desperate way up to DTs or something like that, but that would be absolute craziness here. ToD trying to hold on. Force fields have prevented the push on forwards, but +1 weapons isn't even going to finish here. So many roaches still in production, and a third base trying to go down behind this. SortOf holds all the cards right now. 10
more roaches on the way. Can ToD keep up this hold? Where's the mothership core? It needs a photon overcharge, but it's been so far away. The sentries are falling down. There's the photon overcharge, and the hold is there for now, but more roaches are streaming across the map here for a total of 18 against just a handful of stalkers here, and he's got to be careful they don't have blink.
Oh, he can't move out like this. He's going to lose so many of them, and they will go down so fast. Clear Reconstitution helping out those roaches considerably to actually hunt those down as well. The force field goes down whilst the gateways are on the way to try and wall this off again, but SortOf follows this up with a Spire. Why not keep your opponent on the back foot?
Yeah, why not keep your opponent guessing what you're doing, because next is going to come Mutilus, and ToD's nowhere near ready. Doesn't have Stargate, doesn't have Blink, doesn't have anything now. Cancel the Twilight Cancel. No, he let it complete, sorry. But at this point, awesome pressure coming out from SortOf, considering the circumstances here. But he's not really relying on micro, right? It's strategy.
Yeah, yeah.
He's focusing on things that ToD is not expecting. And everything in this game, from the Zergling speed attack to the roach play to the Mutilus switch.
And there's so many things here that actually work out so well for SortOf. He pushes on through, killing off all of the defense. Probes come off the line to try and kill off this, but it's not going to work out. Even Blink in a Robo facility going down, it's not enough here. SortOf has done great damage, but what you were saying before, about the Spire going down, even if he had the sentries, I mean, he doesn't have the sentries out. He knows that. He knows he couldn't have a hallucinated Phoenix flying over there to spot it. So what better way to just continue switching up that tech?
Yeah, so there's the +1 attack. And I'm not too sure what the overload speed is for here. Not exactly sure about that at all. But the Mutilus play is coming in. So we're going to have a lot of Mutilus being made now. No upgrades on the ground. ToD now does have his +1 attack finally coming in. He does have still 47 probes, and he is holding on for now. But the big problem is, as you say, he has no idea what's going on. No idea at all.
ToD here also sending a probe down to this left-hand side. It would have been... Looks like he wants to try and take a third base.
Oh, yeah, he should be taking a third base now. Like, he's got a high probe count, he's got a high gateway count. Doesn't have any technology yet, but I think a third coming down and then a technology structure, once he kind of figures out what's going on. The probe on the left-hand side of here is to check for the third. He's like, okay, so he does have a third. All right, I suppose I should take a third now. But still, Zealot in the middle of the map, Observer. Mutilus still have not been revealed. They're on the right-hand side, Claris.
Yeah.
ToD's units are nowhere near.
Sneaking around. That's going to be annoying here for ToD. How well can he actually hold this off? Not likely to before he loses a few probes. He does have Blink. Zergling's keeping him busy at the very front here, but again, many probes going to die. 30 have already died in this game.
So, Mutilus have now prevented him from manning in the mid. ToD's actually just going.
Yeah.
He's going across the map here, but I'm not sure he's got enough Stalkers. With all the Zerglings that are out with the Mutilisks, if SortOf says, are you pushing at me? And then just builds and puts all his units together?
Hallucinated Archons to try and tank some of this damage, but I think SortOf probably knows that those are hallucinations. It would be very hard for him to actually have out those 3 Archons at this point in time. The drones do get evacuated, and the forces of SortOf are cutting off the reinforcements, but it's going to be difficult.
And look at the natural, though. Lockdown, baby.
Lockdown. Oh, but the natural of ToD is not on lockdown. The Zerglings stream in, targeting down that Nexus. Even the Mutalisks completely having their way. It's full base trade scenario here. ToD bringing back his Stalkers to try and kill off that.
All that SortOf needs to do, I'd say, even though he can fight the Stalkers, go kill the main Nexus, then fly away and go back and defend.
Yeah. And looks like that's what he's probably going to do. There you go. GG for game number 1. SortOf pulling out all the stops to kill his opponent off, and after 18 minutes, finally does it.
Yeah, I mean, I think he played out this series really well, considering the circumstances he has to face.
Yeah.
You know, different levels of strategies and tech switches, which were basically twisting ToD around the dance floor.
It's tough stuff. Well, ToD now, currently with that 1 game down, needs to pull things back here. Second map will be Newkirk, and then a final will be Neoplanet S if we have to go to it. But apparently ToD's music inspiration so far hasn't paid off.
Not yet. Not yet. Maybe against Terra. Maybe that's what he's hoping for this to be an easy game and then play against Happy. But we'll see as we're about to get into the second game here. ToD fighting in his Premier League debut, making his way up through all of the challenges into where he is now through Challenger League qualifiers, playing in Challenger League itself, and now sits in this last group where we have 2 slots available today to complete the round of 16. For you tuning in right now, by the end of the show, when we have 16 players, we will be doing the group drawing live straight after the show completes, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love doing those group drawings, seeing who is going to be playing against one another in the round of 16 live here in the studios. And you can get your tickets for that as well. I'm pretty sure it's WCS tickets at bitrate.com, if I have to guess it. I
think that was completely off, unfortunately.
Was it really?
I think so. There's an eventbrite.com in there.
Eventbrite. Is it WCS at Eventbrite? Whatever. Thank you, producer. Thank you for saving me.
WCSEurope.eventbrite.com. What did you say? Bitrate?
Bitrate. I don't know why. Bitrate's on the mind. Anyway.
The bitrate is high. Okay, so this next map is Newkirk.
Yep.
How do you think SortOf plays? How do you think ToD plays? Start with SortOf.
SortOf.
Same again.
Aggression again. Not maybe that brand of aggression, but aggression again.
Baneling bust.
I don't want to go with a Baneling bust. I don't want to go with that. I don't know what you could do. I think maybe high roach aggression or something like that.
Okay.
But that can be really hard to pull off against Protoss anyway. So jumping into game number 2, we have spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner as our red Protoss. He is XMG ToD. And spawn down to the bottom left-hand corner. As our blue Zerg, we have Alliance SortOf. But coming back to what you were saying...
Yeah, what does ToD do then?
What does ToD do? I think it's macro focus again. Stargate opener into macro play. Trying to, at least.
Okay. Let's we'll have to follow closely here because SortOf isn't going to change the overall style of how he's playing today.
Yeah.
He's going to play the game one way, and that's kind of predetermined. Just like Duck earlier on in this tournament, just like Naniwar as well. MVP, though, the only player to actually play normal out of all the players that play from Korea.
I would say 4GG didn't play too...
Oh, that's true. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My bad.
The Terrans seem to have...
Suck it up.
Yeah, suck it up, man. Get it done. Our Protoss is not so much. In general.
The Protoss players always seem to be, I don't know, like when they play cross-server, always under pressure.
Yeah, they are, man. They have been under pressure for a while. It's been tough for them.
It's very difficult to control your units, hit the force fields, have the right build. I mean, you got to blink your stalkers, move your army around. It can be difficult. But look at this game. We have, excuse me, Hatchery first by SortOf, and Nexus first by ToD. Nexus first by ToD is incredibly interesting considering what happened in the previous game. What if the same happens?
Yeah. He'd just be dead as a duck. What a little guy. But now, sending his probe out to try and get confirmation of what his opponent's up to. And he'll head over there and just be like, you don't fool me. I'm going to find out exactly what's up.
Yeah, I mean, with this kind of Protoss opening, going Nexus first, ToD is basically saying, I want it all.
Yeah.
Because he's going to have such a powerful economy, even though we see that SortOf isn't doing anything. If he had, it would have been crazy, man. It's such a risky play to do. But, you know, in this case, he's going to go across and scout.
Yeah, ToD's happy to see this. He just wants to play the game out in the end. And now, here with this spawning pool being seen, and all the timings being noticed, ToD's going to sit back and play his normal game.
So it's a gateway as well. Upon seeing that there's a hatchery first, he doesn't need to build a forge.
Well, it's in the base.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just looking at your screen, man.
Yeah, sorry, man.
All right, so forge down inside there, then gateway. Double gas is coming down, so completely normal opening here by ToD. SortOf is gasless still. So seems to be playing a normal game.
Seems.
Like no early aggression. Third hatchery coming down. So in this regard, what kind of play does SortOf go into? Because it's clearly not an early game. Does he try? I'm just, you know, everything's a guess from this point.
Sneaky probe, moves on around, sees the third, has the opportunity. Well, actually, no, there's a Zergling back here, so not really much to be able to do with that. This Zergling making sure he's patrolling around, but he's not actually going to see the probe in the end, unless he deviates from his current path. And now, gets that overlord pushed away. But he sees the cybernetics core timing, so he should be okay. Oh, pylon goes down, but two Zerglings come along to say no again.
Yeah, a little bit of resources lost there in the build and the cancel, but not too much.
And we'll run away for now as well. Okay, so we have 30 workers to 26 in favor of ToD. Just chrono boosting out those. From the natural, no less. It's very important to just chrono boost out from the natural here when you've already got 16 probes on the main, because it gets them out a little quicker there as opposed to from the main to that natural mineral line. So it's small, but important. Oh,
ToD's a very emotional player. I hope that loss in the first game hasn't affected him or changed his overall plan of the series up here. I do notice on ToD's natural mineral line there is a single probe that is not mining to the top right, sorry.
Yep.
A little bit of a misclick mistake, but nothing too major, but something a little bit small. I mean, for every minute that passes by, it's 40 minerals he loses, which isn't too big, but still, he has fixed it now.
And he's got a bit of a wonky wall in the end. He was going to throw down a gateway here, but upon realizing that it wouldn't have actually helped him too much, does change that up. Roach Warren goes down for SortOf at a normal timing to deny any kind of gateway pressures that would come along. So he should be okay.
Looks like ToD's going to take a third Nexus.
Pushing that Zergling away.
Yeah.
It's important.
And then gets down a third Nexus here really early. Really, really early. And, you know, despite... if SortOf saw this, it's kind of easy to deal with.
Yeah.
Zerglings are making their way across the map here. There is no Zergling speed, and the layer's down at a good time here, which I think is just going to be for Hydralisk in this case. But the Zerglings, do they see the third? That's the big point here. It's the biggest turning point of the entire of this game so far. When it comes to intel, neither player's really picked up anything, and now he sees it. Sees this very, very early third base coming down.
ToD, are you trying to do Munzik's builds? Look at the Stargate timing. I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and say maybe he will try it, but...
Yeah, well, with the Stargate coming down, let's see if he adds on additional ones.
There's another one. He's doing it.
All right, so...
apparently he was inspired.
So let's see, this build was played out for the first time that really anybody's seen on Monday in the Intel Extreme Masters Shanghai qualifiers. And it's focused on Phoenix play, and you build up to 10 plus Phoenixes, harass, and then go for this. But the way that SortOf's playing is not overly greedy, which Hyun in that regard was.
Yeah.
He's got double upgrades coming down and a Hydralisk Den as well. The thing is, though, that I think that he's just trying to go up to like 75 drones and then play punish, like build a big army. But does this work? Remember, though, that you can't just copy a build and expect it to work. Sometimes you need to know the reasoning behind that build.
Yeah.
Reasoning behind that strategy. Why did it work? Why does he attack?
Well,
and if ToD's just blatantly copying and doesn't know all the in and outs of the build, why it's good, why it's weak, then this could be a mistake if he runs into too many Hydralisks, for example.
Yeah, could be. A lot of roaches are in production now. Groove Spine started, though, as well as that Hydralisk production. So there is the opportunity here for SortOf to do a lot of damage to it. And again, Myuntic sold the build. He sent out 4 Phoenix early on, revealed them, said, hey, it's just 4 Phoenix, guys. Just 4 Phoenix. Just 4 Phoenix. It's fine. But he's banking them up and not exactly revealing them just yet. Although the element of surprise could be equally as effective.
Yeah, we'll see how this is going to be, because Novaseer is making its way inside the main base to try to figure out what's going on exactly. Pro production has stopped now for ToD, and his unit production is beginning.
This Overseer is really important.
There's not too many Hydras out. The Overseer sees the Phoenixes. Or at least 3 of them, but still, 3 this late.
Yeah, why
not
are they
out there?
Why haven't they been out patrolling? Why haven't they tried to do damage? 20 roaches in production here for SortOf. He has so many units.
Yeah, he needs to be building Hydralisk though.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, so let's say he doesn't build Hydralisk for now and just builds roaches. What do the Phoenix do?
How do you stop that?
Yeah, do the Phoenix like continually pick up like 50 roaches? All the roaches are going to destroy everything that's on the ground very easily here. And he's gone over to the infestation pit upon seeing Phoenixes and actually not building Hydralisk, or at least not at this point.
Theoretically, this could be a very good response. Phoenix clump up ridiculously heavily.
Yeah.
So landing a fungal on it could really, really punish if he gets that opportunity.
Well, ToD is now taking more probes and more gases. I think he's kind of pulled out.
I don't know
his strategy here. He's still got a bunch of Phoenixes, though.
Where do you play from here? I mean, Myuntic.
I don't know, man.
He killed with this. It killed his opponent, dead and buried, and I don't know where the transition is out of it. He doesn't really have that phenomenal upgrades. Only plus 1-0.
He doesn't really have a good army. ToD's at 126 supply, which is a bunch of Phoenix in the air. Against a lot of roaches with a few Hydras. Sure, the Phoenixes can come in and pick the Hydralisk up, but how are you going to deal with the roaches here? More and more Hydralisk coming into play. I'm not sure that, SortOf's actually identified what this is precisely, but he doesn't care.
Exactly.
He's just building units and taking a 4th base, getting the gases there. Very powerful play here from SortOf. Just very economy, unit, macro focused.
Zogman's going to head on down. The Phoenix are not there anymore, so he still doesn't have the intel required. They are going to move into the main base. And there's no spore crawlers. Ooh, well, that's a lot of drones that could die very, very quickly. But if you don't have the army to counter maybe a counter-attack, he's picked up so much, but he's actually not killing them.
So the roaches are going across the map, and the Hydralisk is staying to defend.
This is weird. Ooh, he needs to run away from those Hydralisks. And the roaches here, how much do they actually have to kill off? There's really not that big a ground army here, Apollo.
But there are 3 Void Rays being chrono boosted out, so they'll deal with this quite easily.
Yeah. I guess Void Rays could be the transition here. You have the 3 Stargates down. Why not go for a very, very powerful unit in the form of those Void Rays? Needs to hold on, though. Needs that ground army to stay alive. Doesn't want to pin himself in on that 3rd base here. Needs to protect his natural.
And the roaches do make their way through, and he can actually, with +1 attack, just run straight in, spread across, kill a bunch of stuff here. Phoenixes are going to start doing some lifts.
Needs to lift up. Needs to lift up.
Kill those roaches.
He needs to focus, man. As with those Void Rays as well. I don't know. These roaches, how much damage have they actually done? 18 kills so far?
5. 5. Because other side, 18 Phoenix kills.
Oh,
from
yeah,
the probe line, right?
Wrong way.
So 6. But I really feel that the amount, until Storm is out, I'm not confident, because look at all the lifts that ToD is using on the roaches.
Yeah.
Now what happens if a Hydralisk army comes for a fight? What does he deal with?
No lifts.
Eventually Storm can do it, but look how far the Temple Archives is away. If there's an attack before Storm is ready, I think that's the weakest point of ToD. From here until then, that's his weak area. If he buys time until that point, and then combines it with Void Ray, Zealot Charge, and Archons, then he becomes strong again.
These Phoenix did tank a lot of damage flying past all of those Spore Crawlers. I guess that's the advantage that you have when you have those big numbers. Zealot's doing some damage up to the top as well. But a great fungal lands on a lot of these Phoenix, killing those off. That's a big investment there from ToD.
All right, if SortOf wasn't going to attack now, he sure is after that fungal.
Yeah.
Because that just destroyed a lot. And now he says, what are you going to lift up? That's a lot of money you just spent. High Templar getting warped in. Storm needs to be researched here. I cannot stress how important it is to get Storm. If he just banks on Archons, this is going to be difficult. Maybe he says to himself, I can't get Storm Apollo.
Yeah.
Stop telling me to go for it. I can't get it. I don't have enough time. And he doesn't have enough time because, look, SortOf is making the move. This is going to be very, very difficult. Very difficult. Let's see if he can make this hold.
34 Hydralisks, 20 Roaches with 2-1 upgrades. 3-2 is on the way. Then he's morphing in.
He needs to get the Roaches at the front.
Yep. He needs those to tank. Needs those to tank. At the same time, though, ToD has hallucinated Archons that he's going to try use to tank here. The Phoenix fly on him. What are they going to lift? They need to lift those Infestors. They do. They did diminish quite a bit of that power that they have, but they didn't have that much energy anyway. Void Rays are going to have to do a lot of work, along with those Zealots charging forwards. Roach is tanking for them. The Hydralisks, they might have enough DPS to actually shut all of this down, and it looks like they do in the end. Not enough Void Rays, not enough firepower from ToD.
Yeah, and now the Roaches and the Hydralisks come crashing through, and ToD's plan is just opened up and now is easily run over as the Roaches and Hydralisks breaking down the third base. ToD's trying to survive here, warping in Zealots. It's going to be a very difficult hold. If the Roaches and the reinforcements keep on coming, it's Zealots versus well-upgraded Roach Hydralisk.
GG, well played. SortOf marches on in a 2-0 here against ToD.
Yeah, looking really good, SortOf. You know, accepting the problems that he has to play with, making strategy around it, but in that game was all right. It's very easy how I'm going to play this. I'm going to drone, then unit, drone, then unit. I don't need a micro if I'm always having a better economy, a better army, a better position, better upgrades. And he always put himself in that position. He never had to rely on micro, for example, there.
Well, very, very well done to him. He will go on to advance and play against Titan for that first round of 16 spot. Meanwhile, ToD falls down to play against Happy, a tough position for ToD to be in.
Definitely didn't want to be.
Yes.
For any ToD fans out there, I promise you that he wanted to win this game. Everybody wants to win this game, but to have to play against Happy and a Terran, which ToD doesn't like to play against, then this is now the worst case scenario for him.
Very much so. So guys, join us after the break when we shall determine our first spot in the round of 16. Will it be Titan or will it be SortOf?